In this section, we will monitor SELinux violations. If there's an SELinux violation on the system, most applications, and therefore most users, will only see a generic permission denied. They will not be able to distinguish whether the permission was denied because of discretionary access controls or mandatory access controls. The SELinux violations, however, are logged. Most logs go into var log, and SELinux is no change. Within var log, there is an audit directory which contains an audit log, which will hold the SELinux violation errors. In addition, if you have the SE troubleshoot-server package installed, you can also see a short summary of the error within var log messages. This summary will also include a unique identifier and an indicator to use an SEAlert command in order to view more details about that particular SELinux violation. Let's generate some SELinux errors on our system and see how those messages are logged. I have the web server running on my system, and I have the var www.html or document root already populated with an index.html file. In fact, this file also has the default SELinux context, so it should be available. If I bring up my Firefox browser and refresh the page, I can see this particular server. If I cat out the file, that is the contents of what I have there. If I create a new file, perhaps in my home directory here, specifying that this is SELinux context test, and I'll put it into an index2.html file. If I move this index2.html to my var www.html document root and look again at these permissions, my new file got the same discretionary access controls and will be readable by the user Apache, which is what the process runs as. However, the SELinux context for my new index2.html file is an admin_home_t. It retained the context from where the file was created because I used the move command. With this particular file, if I try to access it, I'll get a permission denied error. Within my browser, I can put in the path to this, index2.html, and I get a forbidden, you don't have permission to access index2 on this server. In my tab, I see that it's a 403 forbidden error. I can also view this error from the command line. With an elinks command, I could dump the contents and specify the URL. server1.example.com. Index.html works fine, but index2.html has a permission error. Apache logs to the var log httpd directory. There's an access file which sees my get on index 2 and presents that with a 403 error. If I look at the error log that Apache keeps, I have a much more generic permission denied message in trying to read that file. I know that it's an SELinux error, so I can take a look at var log audit log. Within the audit log, if we have an SELinux violation, we end up with an AVC denied message. AVC is our access vector control, which are our SELinux checks. The denied is a violation. It then gives us details about this violation. It was an attempt to get attributes by a specific process ID, running the command httpd, and accessing the path var www.html index2.html. In addition, I have an S context, which is the source context. This is the httpd_t type that's associated with the process itself. And I have a T context or target context, which is my admin_home_t type that's associated with that file. This is the raw message from SELinux, and it does provide the information necessary to see that it's a context issue. However, if I look at the end of my var log messages utility and file, there's an SE troubleshoot entry. This entry is here because I do have the SE troubleshoot-server package installed. It gives me a summary that's much friendlier to a system administrator. It says SELinux is preventing HTTPD from getting attributes on the file, which includes index2.html. It also tells me that for a more complete message to run a specific command. This SEAlert command, and listing out the information associated with this specific unique identifier. If I paste this in and let it run, it will look up that particular alert, and then it will also run a couple of plug-in scriptlets in order to evaluate that alert and give some suggestions for fixing it or removing the error. So the first part I see is a summary again of what my error was. I then have, with a 99.9% confidence, a suggestion that I may want to fix the label. That the default label should probably be this HTTPD syscontent type. And if that's what I choose, I can run the specific command of a restoreCon command. So I get the suggestion for the command and everything. Since it wasn't 100% confidence, there's also the other percentage of the confidence, which is suggesting that I report a bug if I believe that this is truly an error. Let's try another example. I also have available in var www.cgi bin a script. If I look at this script, it's designed to echo out that I'm going to show the contents of a home student sample.txt, and then it's going to cat out the contents of that file. If I issue that command, the cat command, I see that the file does exist and has some content. If I look at the permissions of that file, and I look at the permissions of the parent directory, I've modified the permissions so that the user Apache, and therefore the discretionary access controls for the web server, do have access to this particular file. The file itself has a standard context for a home directory of user home type. So now if I use my elinks command, and this time I try and run my script, cgi-bin myscript.sh, I do see the echo message that says it's going to show me the contents, but I don't actually see the contents of that file. If I look at var log httpd error log, I see a reference to the cat command trying to cat out that file and ending up with permission denied. If I look at the end of my var log messages, I have an SE troubleshoot message that SELinux is preventing the cat command from searching access on the directory home student. So it's actually not even able to get into the directory home student, and for a complete message to run the specific SEAlert command. If I allow this command to run, it will analyze the message and give some suggestions. Here, with an 89.3% confidence, it suggests that I might want to allow HTTPD to read the home directories. And if I want to do that, I need to run a set SEBool command in order to change that boolean. It's just a suggestion. I may not want to do it. I may decide that I would rather move this content and adjust my scripts so that it does not even try to access anything in the home directories. Because if I enable the boolean, I'm then allowing the web server to access anything in anybody's home directories that it has the discretionary access controls for. So again, as long as I have the SE troubleshoot-server package installed on my system, if I do have an SELinux violation, the raw message will go to the var log audit log. However, a more user-friendly message will appear in var log messages, complete with an SEAlert command that can be run to give suggestions on how to get rid of that error.